Don't judge a book by its cover. You've probably heard that phrase a million different times, and even though we're all told not to, we just can't help but take things at face value. It's so easy to decide what you're going to get based on what you see in front of you, and movies are no different. A lot of the time, this is actually the right decision. Nobody's going to call you out for dismissing Titanic 2: Jack's Revenge as nonsense, but occasionally, a movie can rise above the fact that it might seem like a bad prospect, delivering something truly special in the process. It's virtually a guarantee that you've seen one of the following movies and loved it, despite thinking that it seemed like a terrible idea on paper. And if you haven't seen them, maybe give them a shot. With that in mind, I'm Will, to bring you brilliant movies with a terrible premise. Number 9, 21 Jump Street. Based on a forgotten 80s TV show and starring Channing Tatum in a leading role, an actor who'd never really displayed sufficient comedic chops in any of his early movies, 21 Jump Street seemed like it was set up to fail from the very beginning. Tatum and Jonah Hill looked like a ridiculously mismatched pair at this point. The high school comedy thing had been done to death. But fortunately, 21 Jump Street was a lot smarter than anyone expected. On the surface, it looked like a dumb, formulaic comedy, but by embracing and often subverting teen movie tropes, Lord and Miller's hilarious script was able to rise above them, packing a wit and sense of self-aware humor that felt refreshing in a market saturated with samey comedy movies. This was also the movie that turned Channing Tatum from a wooden jock into a bona fide leading man, which, ironically, was a transition he made while playing a wooden jock. Smooth. Number 8, John Wick. Turning the often bland Keanu Reeves into a kick-ass action star sounds like a premise that's begging to be turned into a cheesy, uninspired, straight-to-DVD shooter, one that would be buried under a horde of similar movies, most of them starring Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage. Reeves, although undoubtedly an awesome dude in real life, had a string of flops like 47 Ronin and The Day the Earth Stood Still, so counting on him to make John Wick great just seemed a little silly. However, boasting plenty of amazing action sequences that weren't choppily edited and a simple, believable revenge plot that made dog lovers everywhere clutch their pets and hold on for dear life, John Wick was engaging from the word go. The movie's slick production values and visceral shootout sequences make it one of the best pure action experiences you'll ever see. Reeves is also great, playing a Terminator-esque killing machine, and his cool performance turned him into a bankable action star against all the odds. Number 7, 10 Things I Hate About You. A modern retelling of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, set in an American high school, sounds completely mad on paper, especially one that's a teen comedy arriving at the tail end of the 90s teen comedy craze. Add to that the fact that a first-time feature film director was at the helm, and it's understandable that some people didn't have a whole lot of confidence going in. But 10 Things I Hate About You is often regarded as one of the better teen comedies in existence, elevated above the rampant stupidity of similar fare thanks to charming performances from Heath Ledger, Julia Stiles, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's also genuinely funny with several standout scenes, proving that teen comedies don't have to contain cheap sex jokes every 5 seconds just to draw a laugh. Not that there's anything wrong with cheap teen sex jokes, to be fair, but you know, this movie goes above and beyond. Number 6, Chronicle. In the run-up to the release of Chronicle, the general reaction to it was a sarcastic, "Yay, another found footage movie." Even back in 2012, the genre had been done to death. Cloverfield, The Blair Witch Project, Quarantine, and the numerous Paranormal Activity movies had killed the novelty of the format. So Chronicle, even though it was marketed as a superhero origin story, just seemed like another way to repackage a movie we'd seen a million times before. However, while Chronicle did contain several issues that have plagued found footage movies since the beginning, none of that mattered. Its story was gripping, intense, and surprising from start to finish. Featuring a trifecta of great lead performances, its characters are so engrossing that you'll probably forget you're even watching a found footage movie at all. Chronicle is utterly focused on the relationships between these 3 young men, the powers they gain, and the trouble that causes, and that story would be great no matter how it was filmed. The Lobster. The Lobster's core idea is so ridiculously baffling that it's amazing people were actually paid to make this film. A story about a man who attends a hotel where the residents must find the perfect partner within 45 days or they'll be turned into an animal. The Lobster is next level off the wall bonkers, and it sounded like the type of movie that'd just whack you over the head with its overly preachy message, loneliness is bad, loneliness is bad, loneliness is bad. Real original message there, guys. It's also got that angsty tee-hee look at me, I'm so random lol vibe going for it with the whole turning into an animal thing. At face value at least. But in reality, The Lobster is subtle, affecting, and greatly enjoyable. A dark love story that cleverly explores courtship and societal constructs, all wrapped in a deliciously offbeat sense of humour. One of the great things about The Lobster is that it doesn't offer just one specific point of view. It presents both loneliness and relationships as positive things, and indeed negative things, pointing out the frequently superficial nature of contemporary romance, as well as the benefits of just living for yourself. The result is a scarily relevant dramedy that doesn't pull any punches, and a movie that's as weird as it is weirdly moving. Number 4. Swiss Army Man is about a dude trekking his way through the wilderness with the aid of a rotting, flatulent corpse, played by Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter. The inherent stupidness of that idea is readily apparent, as is the fact that this seems like another quirky indie drama that's quirky for the sake of being quirky. How can we take Swiss Army Man seriously when its USP is dead Harry Potter letting them rip for 90 full farting minutes? And while it's easy to laugh at Swiss Army Man's farting corpse for a good few moments, it's also easy to appreciate how much meaning there is behind every single decision the filmmakers made while crafting this movie. Radcliffe's character essentially represents how the protagonist's character wishes he could be. Throughout the movie, Radcliffe talks about showing his dream girl Sarah how much he loves her, something our protagonist wishes he could do. Ultimately, Swiss Army Man is telling you to open up and not be afraid of who you are and what you feel. It's a great message conveyed in a beautifully unorthodox manner. Number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. This one barely even qualifies as a concept, but Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl took inspiration from Disney's own Pirates of the Caribbean theme park ride. It's immediately obvious that this doesn't lend itself well to a movie, and when you consider that, at the time, pirate movies were box office and critical poison, The Curse of the Black Pearl was about as bad as movie ideas get. But 4 sequels and billions of dollars later, it seems silly to think that Pirates of the Caribbean was ever a bad idea. And sure, while the most recent Pirates movies are hardly the best in the world, the one that started it all was a remarkable action-adventure that deserved all the success it had. Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow is one of the most charming protagonists of all time, the swashbuckling score is one of the most memorable, and the spooky zombie pirate effects still hold up today, while the relationship between Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann provides a strong emotional backbone that proves effortlessly endearing, at least in the first movie. Put it simply, The Curse of the Black Pearl has it all, and it's rarely felt better to be so disastrously wrong about the prediction of a movie. Number 2, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. You'd be lying if you said that you weren't apprehensive about Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. It seemed like a pretty lazy attempt to cash in on the mild popularity of the 1995 original, which is awesome by the way, totally my film. And coming from the director of Bad Teacher and Sex Tape, it was hard to have any faith in the project. And with a cast that included The Rock, who was just coming off the awful Baywatch, Kevin Hart and Jack Black, who can either be wildly funny or just terrible depending on what they're in, and Karen Gillan, who looked like she was just there to be the token hot chick, Welcome to the Jungle looks set to be one of 2017's biggest misfires. But it was surprisingly respectful of the original movie and genuinely funny all by itself. This is a rare sequel that manages to build upon its predecessor in all the right ways, smartly mixing up the Jumanji formula and adapting it for a modern day audience. Plus, the 4 leads all kill it in their roles, and they each get a moment to shine, and you can feel the chemistry bouncing off the screen. The movie works so well because of how good they all are, and with a sharp script that contains a few references to the original film but doesn't require you to have watched it, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is a smart, easily enjoyable ride from start to finish. Number 1, The Lego Movie. So you know the Emoji Movie? That's what we all thought the Lego Movie was going to be. A terrible cash grab made only to capitalize on the popularity of a product. We all knew it was gonna suck. After all, the idea is basically nothing. It's a movie about Lego, so what? Where's the emotional hook? Where are the memorable characters? And how can a children's toy be turned into an engaging on-screen story? Look, nobody expected the Lego Movie to amount to anything, but it absolutely delivered the goods, and then some. Funny, creative, and with a genuinely heartwarming message about the importance of family and inclusiveness, it was easily the best animated movie of 2014. It's also universally entertaining, and it really does have something for everyone. Kids can sit back and enjoy the zany characters and creative visual gags, while adults can soak up all the pop culture references and surprisingly witty satire. Everything is Awesome could not be a more fitting title for this movie's theme song.